Well, hello. 11 days in, just checking out our results. Before today's session, 200 Zoom plus 565. Overall for the video series, we're plus 1025, but we'll use this tracker to see how today's session goes. Also got big 82 table on the side. Wanted to play it, might as well feature it. And let's get straight into it. Table 187, table 3 is the 5-3 suited, which will open up, and table 2 is ace-10 suited, which of course we will also open up. Okay. Big 82, it looks like a decent 3-bet candidate if we get heads up. Just defend though, it seems like a bit of a waste if we get jammed on. Queen 7 suited is probably our worst suited queen. Big blind is a very good player, so I'm not too sure about our open. We'll check the Jack 10 and see bet small with our... We could also jam that ace 4 suited, but whatever. This guy flat in a small blind isn't too respectable, to be honest. Start going small, see how he reacts. Now start putting in some money with the Jack 10 after he checks back flop. And I think we just overbet this turn when he checks back in the big 82. We've got way more straights and 2 pairs than he has, and just good hands in general, and we've also so many draws, so a big size makes a lot of sense, of course. The 9-5, we don't have much going on. We can bluff some rivers potentially, but no, he goes ahead and overbets turn on the Jack. Take it away, sir. Any questions about any spots, whether it's a small pre-flop spot or a big river spot, get down in the comments. I'll get back to you for sure. 3 playable hands here, although the Queen Jack is now a fold versus an open. The 8-7 suited, I think I might c-bet. We've got some very good playable turns on a 9, on a 6, on a club. And we can go for a big size. This really applies maximum pressure to a hand like 6s or ace-5. I think it's decent amount of fold equity and something that's not done enough. Big bets multi-way very effective, as they look so strong, and they should be decently strong most of the time. But you need a balance with some weak hands, otherwise everyone can just fold all the time to you. Beautiful turn with the 5s, of course. Gonna bet 2/3. And filling up to a boat is just a dream. It doesn't seem like he's gonna fold, but maybe he'll start flirting with the idea of folding if we overbet. So we'll just go under pot here. Try and get that cry call with ace-x. He did call pretty quick. Tempted to be a little bit more greedy there, but yeah, he had ace-queen, but he had no club. But he still had a pretty strong hand. I feel like we did alright in terms of getting value there. Big bet in the turn, big bet in the river. I'll take it. Okay, interesting. My instinct is to c-bet 1/3 on the 5-5-4, but I think we have a pretty decent range advantage here. We're going to check back to king 6. We don't want to bet call, and we do want to see a turn. Going to size up with the ace-3, just because like neither of us have many 5s, and I've got all the overpair advantage, so pretty good board for us. Another factor, we actually blocked the ace-5 suited, which means we're going to run into it less. And I think now on textures like this, on boards like this, as the aggressor, you're just going to have a huge range advantage. So I'm actually going to go super small on the turn and just jam river and feel pretty comfortable about it. Okay, he folds now anyway. Just when our queens and jacks and kings and aces are a full house on that board, he's just done. We've just got such a nut advantage. Ace 5 or Ace 6 will be folding on table 3, nice and simple. 10-9 off will open if we got the opportunity in the button. 9-7 off, we'll let that go, won't wait around for it. Try and get as much hands played as possible in the short period of time we have. Although we don't want to go too quick. Don't want to make any blunders. My girlfriend just doing a little bit of cleaning around the house. You might be hearing some noise, washing machines and such. Pocket 10s, min raise, as we would min raise everything from the low jack and hijack. And we'll mix a call and a 4-bet. I like the 5-4 suited as like a pure 3-bet on table 1. We roll low with the 10s, we'll call this time. Pretty good board for us with the 5-4. We're going to generate a decent amount of folds, plus we have decent equity and backdoor equity ourselves. I think half pot. I think we want to start drilling it a little bit here, even though it is quite a dry texture. It might be a mistake, or it might be unnecessary to go this big. But ho hum. 7-5 suited will open up, even though it's very marginal, but we see 2 fish behind us. Oh, this guy's only got 11 bigs on table 1. If I noticed that, I might have just folded. As we're kind of... The 10 is a really bad card on table 2, by the way. Just going to check now. It just connects so much with his straight draws and his floats, as well as flop continues. I'm not too sure about that, but we're going to have so many barrels on the 10. All our queen jacks, king queens are just going to fire the 10. So using 5-4, we're just going to be betting this turn too much, and now we got to check fold our gut shot, sadly. Nice hand him. Raise up the 4s, and we're going to check the 7-5 and see what this shorty does on the button. He snap checks back. Okay, interesting. Well, I'm just thinking about raising, so to clear buttons equity out, and to also have some fold equity right here, but I guess we just call. Can bluff that river potentially. We'll have to go pretty big. He can have some 2 pairs himself. If he bets, we just fold, yeah, because then he can just have straights. If he checked the river, he might be playing some 2 pairs in a pot control manner, which would then tempt me to bet like massive, maybe even all in. We might have blundered the 4s a little bit there. We played it quite passive and then just folded on the river. It was a little bit weak of a line by us, but it might have been fine. We might have just had the worst hand by the river. King 5 suited in the tournament, we'll just fold. Queen jack suited will open it up. Now we lost some pots there across the 3 tables, but not to worry. Still plenty of cards to play. Easy defend at the queen jack suited. Don't want to be 4-betting this combo, it's just too strong. We don't need to be 4-betting this one. Queen 10 suited could be a 4-bet, as it's less strong and less of a disaster when we have to, if we 4-bet queen 10 suited and get jammed on, it's not as bad as when we 4-bet queen jack suited and get jammed on. Do we want to check raise here? I think so. I think having that extra playability on a 10 and a 9. Also, if we check call flop, he can bet really big on turn and we just can't continue, so I like starting to play it aggressively right here. Ace 3 suited is just a fold in these positions. Ace queen, I'm just going to pure bet this texture after opening the button, and we'll check back the ace 9 the tournament, and I think start to go towards showdown now with the queen jack. We're not going to get any better hands to fold at this point on table 2, so just check. It's pretty standard. Ace queen, we will continue, and pretty bad turn, complete some straights, pairs up some of his bluffs on the flop. And yeah, I like his size. It's enough to take it away from us. If we want, we can bet super small with the queen jack. Try and get called some jacks, 10s, maybe a 9-8 suited and pocket 9s. I think it's fine. I think it's just going to work quite well as a block. I don't want to check fold. So yeah, let's go super small here and try and target those hands we've listed. We're going to run into a better hand quite a lot. But if that's the case, then we've set the price just like so. We ran into ace king there, but we managed to get a what? An 8% bet in on the river. So I forget what the exact fraction was, but it was a pretty small bet. That was the definition of a blocker bet right there on the river with the queen jack. Some would say, well, we can just check fold also. But I would just be a little bit too afraid of folding the best hand if we want to check fold always. And if we're going to check call, I think it's better to just bet ourselves a tiny amount, set the price, you know. I could talk about that, those river block spots all day. Won't get into it too much now. Ace deuce would usually be a fold in the small blind. It will be now anyway. Probably would have opened it up into the weaker big blind if got the opportunity. Ace 8, just a fold here. Gonna give this player a weaker tag. His 3-bet's just way too small out of position. Probably quite nutted, but happy to get the good price. And we see some limp in here on table 1. We already have this guy tagged anyway. And a 4x from another guy we have tagged on table 2. Tags seem to be quite accurate. Gotta continue with the 9s. He's bet small. We've backdoor flush and straight draws. When he checks the turn, it's quite exciting. The chances of him goofing around and or having ace king go up when he checks turn. Before that turn check, I was pretty sure he just had like very strong range. I think we'll check back the ace 10 in the tournament as fear of getting check raised. Really weird that he just goes like 30% on the river now. I don't think we can call. I don't think he's going to pick this size if he wants to turn ace king into a bluff. He could be a complete spoofer goofer. Yeah, good bet by our dude in the tournament. When you check back, your range gets quite weak, which is why people will overbet versus your checks a lot. That is modern poker for you. Aces on table 1, gotta fold the 9s, right? Very goofy line. Like if we called and saw a7 off, I wouldn't be shocked, which is why I'm hesitating to call there, but we'll let it go. We're just getting a bit too optimistic. Jam the 7s in the tournament. Very, very clean spot. 3-bet the aces. Open the ace-9 off on table 2. Just dream spots, really. Versus a 4-bet on table 1. Deciding if we call or 5-bet. Probably just 5-bet jam. These positions, ranges are a bit stronger. Just try and stack them. I think jack low, two-tone. We can just go 1/3. We'll both have a decent amount of jack X. I'll 3-bet king jack suited, ace jack suited, queen jack suited, jack 10 suited. And he'll defend all those hands. He min raises in position. We will give him the fish tag. It's call or re-raise, obviously. I'm worried about pocket 6s and pocket 5s. But we're going to get kind of stacked by them anyway, so I kind of want to do this, although it does eliminate his bluffs. But in case he's doing this with like a jack X that wants protection, and the possibility, yeah, that's another part of the equation though. When we 3-bet the flop, we eliminate all his bluffs. And I did have that in mind, but he might start slowing down on the turn with some of those bluffs anyway, which then means he min raises the flop and turn goes check check, and now we're at the river. He gets to see all 5 cards. Even if he is bluffing on flop, it's not a whole lot of value from that, unless he starts going crazy on the turn. Gonna overbet the 10 now. Queen jack suited on table 1 and 3, both of clubs. Looks like they'll both be getting 3-bet unless we get walked on table 1. Yep, 3-betting it up. Yeah, just wanted to 3-bet those aces. He can float as well. We've 3-bet to a pretty small size. I just think when we're out of position, calling the flop raise, then check and turn to him, it's just a little dicey. We got Vice and Fish in the 200 pool, an absolute beast. He's He's a mega reg of the higher stakes cash games. Very strong 2-5 zoom player. Probably the best player in the 200 zoom pool right now. As I'm surprised he's even playing it, but there's probably not much action anywhere else. A7 off will just be fold. Table 2, I think we just check again versus Vice and Fish. We can't get, when you're playing against the better players, you gotta avoid getting too creative. I'm a very creative player. I splash around a lot, do some funky stuff that's not really done in theory. But against these better guys, against these bosses of the world, it just creativity backfires against them. You just gotta play nice, solid, theoretical poker. And I think that's your best chance of like not getting destroyed by them. Although I am thinking of getting creative now with a raise. Check, check, flop. We check call like sizable on the turn. I think we just want to bluff here. It's pretty fucking weird actually. Now I think he's got a value bet too much at the time. And he's the type, better players are going to be balanced with, when they check flops, you can't discount flush draws the same as weaker players. They're just so fucking balanced. Little bit of an intimidation factor in that hand. Gotta be honest. Should probably just focus on that hand and how to play it and ignore who I'm playing against. But I think we played the hand fine. Could have raised river, but I have this, oh, do we bluff the 7-6 on table 3? I don't think so. I think he's just going to check call a king enough at the time, or we can show down and win. Or check call a queen 8 off. If he's in the mix with queen 8 off there, he could be the type of guy to just check call river. Great bet from this. Good reg on table 1. We can't continue with our backdoors now. Yeah, what I was going to say about the Vice and Fish hand, I have a theory, or an assumption, or a suspicion at least, that when the high stakes guys come to the lower stakes, they're not out there bluffing about, splashing. You might think that, but they're just playing their value hands very straightforward, and they're playing good solid poker, and that's the best thing for them to do when they're playing weaker players, you know. Speaking of weaker players here, this guy does have less than 100 bigs, which would indicate that he could be a weaker player. His 3-bet squeeze size is very nice though. Still a hand like 10-9 suited. Very tempting. I think we'll make a solid fold here, as we can be dominated by both ranges here. They can have bigger hearts or just better 10x hands, so I think we'll get out of the way. And the fact that the dude who squeezed had less than 100 bigs means our implied odds aren't as good. You wanna be nice and deep with those suited connectors. Call the 9-4 suited in position on table 3. Flop a flush draw. A board where he should be barreling off, as he's got all the strong hands and we don't. For us to have a strong hand here, it's got to be like king 8, ace 8 at a stretch. Pretty bad turn, as we can be dead now on table 3, but he did go quite small on the flop. He might even check this turn now. If he does, do we take a free card or bet small? You know, I'm going to try for a very optimistic 1/3 bet and hope that we find a miracle fold. We do, which is really nice. Versus a regular there, we're probably not going to get that through, or we won't even be given the opportunity to bet versus a check. But yeah, quite a nice pickup there with the 9 high. Like a boss, as some would say. Queen Jack suited, opening up into Albazaar. Very reggy table there on table 3. The yellow is reg, by the way. Red is better reg. 7s in the tournament. Classic tournament hand, pocket 7s, isn't it? Raise call in 2 stacks, button and small blind in the tournament. I defend the Jack 10 off, I think. A little bit marginal, but I think he'll be making money versus a green tag, and yeah, I think we can make it work. Now he did check back, which makes his range really weak, and we would see overbets. I just think the texture isn't really wet enough to warrant an overbet, but I will bet an early pot. 6-4 suited will fold. I thought it was 5-4 suited, an early 3-bet. That would have been a disaster. Big bet the 10-7-4 there. I would like to talk about why we bet the 10-7-4. Okay, first we'll play this hand on table 2. He called turn, which is surprising. He's probably got a decent amount of spades, or like ace-5, ace-4, or like strong ace-highs. Tempted to check, you know. I think I will. My instinct just... Because he's going to check back a decent amount, but if we bet, he's going to fold so often as well. At least when we check, he can like bluff king, queen of spades, or ace-5. Check call, and also we pot control, we avoid getting raised on the river. Okay, that was actually a really nice played hand by him. I'm just going to instantly change his tag after that. The balance in his flop checks with aces there is just a very strong play. So respect to him. He got the absolute max. He got us to put money in dead on the turn. Let us river top pair. So... I think we played the hand fine also, for what it's worth. A little bit of a misread on how good our opponent was, is all. Ace-4 suit, we'll 3-bet in the button, happy days, and we'll raise up the 7s versus this under the gun limp. Go half pot with the Jack-7. Actually, we'll go 2/3. I feel like we have the best hand an overwhelming amount of the time. Could be another decent spot to check with the Jack-7 as 2 flush draws miss, but... some of those flush draws will just check back anyway if they're like ace queen, ace jack. He had pocket 6s on table 1. Jack 8 suited will open that up in the cutoff. And we'll see bet the 7s for 1/3. Target is auto folds. Same with the Jack 8 suited. The Jack 8 suited has a lot of playability here on turns. Just going to check the Jack 8 now. Limp in our Jack 10 in the tournament, and like we say, 1/3 on table 2 with the 7s. Don't want to start betting big with the 7s because it's 7s on a queen 10-5 board, you know. We're just going to go for a small stab. Try and get the fold on the flop. If not, try and get the showdown. Just kind of be done with the hand, except that we're going to lose it quite often. Very spicy turn lead by him. As small as it is, 20%, I'm not going to continue. It's a very good price, but like if he's doing this with a 10 or something, we've got 5% equity, so we would need 20-1 odds to continue. We'd have the best hand a small amount of the time, but very small amount of the time. And he can bluff us on rivers and get there on rivers. So I think calling the 3 bigs in the turn there is just a donation. Happy that we folded. Very, very spicy hand in the big 82. Oh, I don't know why this guy's... I didn't realize it was ex-pronto. Because I've got... You can't see my HUD. My HUD is actually covering the names a little bit. This guy is like... I don't know. We're gonna... I think we're gonna bluff now. I think we're gonna bluff for a half pot now. It's like the weakest hand we can have here. It's a really ugly spot. Thankfully we get it through. The 10-5 suited we're opening up on table 3, even though I think this is a fold and a blunder. And now welcome to LA is gonna 3-bet the small blind. I think he does. $5 donation for him. I think the ace-9 off, ace-6 off on table 1 is a clear check call, and the ace-9 off, it's not a clear 3-bet, but it's a decent candidate. We're gonna go for it. I think ace-10 off is just strong enough to flat and play in position. Ace-9 off, 1 pip weaker, but actually a lot weaker as it can't make straights, of course. So pretty good 3-bet bluff candidate. If we get jammed on, we care because we lose 5 bigs, but we don't care that we didn't get to realize equity with our hand because our hand isn't that good. But yeah, we get it through. I like it. The ace-6 is a pretty under-bluffed spot on table 1. Don't feel good about it, but I think we have to check call. He's just going to have a lot of queen 10, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10, 8 and stuff. We also blocked the 6-5 straight that just got there in the river. He'll also have loads of 1 spade combos, so good luck. But yeah, he just has a better hand. It's a pretty under-bluff spot, like I said. As when we check call the turn, we've got a lot of ace-x in our range, so The fact that people don't really expect ace-x to fold there on the river makes it an uncomfortable spot for us. Nonetheless, we still just have to check call. That's how it goes. With the eights, we could 3-bet. I think it's totally fine, but we'll call and let the button or small blind jam. But this is one of the merits of you might be thinking, why would you 3-bet eights here in the tournament? Well, this is exactly why. It's good that the small blind is jammed now, but now early position can re-jam and we have to fold. Wow. So now I think I'm going to back jam now and expect everybody to fold. This can backfire, but it's the play I'm going to make. That's the bottom line. I don't think early position is going to let everyone in behind. He might have aces, but it's just such a huge pickup if early position folds and we get heads up with all that dead money. Beautiful, like beautiful, 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 beautiful. Let's just hold now. Yeah, insanely. We just printed so much EV in that spot there. Early position could have re-jammed, maybe should have re-jammed. But I can be trapping there. The eights isn't like strong enough to be a trap, but it kind of functions as a trap, as you see there. At least we're trapping button and small blind as we let them rip 20 bigs with underpairs. I think the sevens we're not going to show down. We'll just try and win it on the flop here. Raise up the sevens versus the limp. When we see that ace king jack, it's tempting to continue bluffing, and we will go for the old small bet big bet combo on the turn. This is a fucking overpowered play, I gotta be honest. And what we see here, me getting raised on table 2, is like a function of how overpowered the play is. We bet small on the turn here, and the play is for him to check call. He check raises here because he's got a good hand. Most likely he could have bluffed with something weird, whatever, but the point of the play is we bet really small, and I don't even want to tell you this stuff, it's so fucking good, but let's say he check calls the turn there. What are we going to do on the river? We're going to no, forget that. When he check calls the turn there on table 2, on the ace king jack 6, whatever it was, what's he telling us when he check calls? He doesn't raise out of position versus a 1/4 size. What does that tell us? Tells us he doesn't have better than one pair, basically. So on most rivers that we assume he doesn't improve, you know, we can like win the pot and it feels like uncontested. Anyway, I hope that makes some sense. If it doesn't, then we're just going to fold the ace-3 suit, by the way, and check back the ace-jack twice. 7's a pretty bad card that he could check raise. But yeah, the small turn bet is like an information play. It's like an old school information play. That 1/4 on the turn, and then when we get that information and he check calls, then on the river, we use that information. We bet really big to get him to fold upwards of 95% of his range, maybe 90%. He overbets river here. I'm going to call. He could potentially be doing this with a worse jack, just for some levels, and he is. I respect his play. He's going to feel like he's got the best hand a lot there, and he wants to polarize and get me to hero call. It makes sense. I think his kicker is a little bit weak though. If he had queen jack, I'd respect the play a lot more. I still think it's fine what he did. La 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 la. King 8's a fold. 5-4 is a fold. 7-6 suited though in the tourney. That is worthy of an open. Hopefully button doesn't rip it. Been recording for half an hour already. Play a few more orbits. Super small 3-bet with the 7-6. Gonna play it in position, as happy as Larry. A6 is a fold. Gonna take the even better now. We get a great price to see a flop versus the 3-bet. Now we're getting a free turn. Oi oi oi. And now we get a free river. Just realize all our equity. I think he's got like kings or aces, it feels like, but we just backdoor a flush because he let us see all 5 cards for basically free. And if he bets big, I'm going to assume he's got aces, and we're going to jam, and he's going to snap call his aces like he's never going to lose. And then he's going to see that I have a flush, and he's going to think he's the unluckiest player in the world, and why does this always happen to him? And online poker's rigged, and blah de blah de blah. There it is. Now he's going to tell all his buddies how unlucky he is. It's pretty fucking unlucky for the guy, in all fairness. Can't be too hard on him. I just think he played the hand like... I don't want him to use a mean word. He played the hand bad. Enough said. I don't like how he played the hand. His 3-bet size is so small as well. Like, he's just letting me play my whole range. He doesn't want any fold equity. Then he wants to let me realize all the rest of my equity by seeing 5 cards. You're going to get punished. King 7 suited in the hijack. Open it up. Now chip leading this big 82. Pretty standard stuff, to be honest. It's a small field tournament. Yeah, King 7 suited, easy fold now. Don't really like what's going on with our King 5 here. I don't know what to do. I don't really want. I think I'm just going to show it down and hope to chop with another King high and just expect to lose a decent amount. Otherwise, I don't really want to put in any money. Yeah, okay. We've had a losing day on the Zoom streets anyway, but it's fine. I don't think we made any huge blunders. I'm relatively happy with how we played. I think our reads were relatively on point as well. And that's all you gotta hope for, is to like just to put decent effort in, just to be happy with how you played, and not focus on the results too much, you know. I'm sure you heard that a million times, but it's one of the most powerful pieces of advice in poker, is to not get too attached to the results, not get too attached to the glory, not get too attached to the financial value of the chips you're playing with, not get too attached to, oh, what new shoes you can buy if you win this tournament or whatever. Just play your hands, focus on the strategy, and that's the best way the money's going to fall on your lap. Like, that's your best chance of making money. We'll min bet the deuces, try clear out some equity. Gonna bluff the ace, the jack 10 now. Initially I was planning to just check call, try turn a queen and just be done with the hand, but we're gonna have so much ace x in our range. But fair play to him, he just checked back an ace. I felt like we had to bluff there because we called a big size on the flop with the jack 10. That's why we let the gut shot go there. I think it's alright. That's when we check called a big bet on the flop with the jack 10. It makes me even more confident that our bluff is going to work. But as I said, and as we saw, he just checked back the ace. Very, very good play by him on the turn, really, because talking about that jack 10 hand, if he bets the turn, we're folding our jack 10. He's not getting any value. We can call deuces here. We can, because we unblock all the jack 9s, queen jacks. Queen 9s. Okay, we'll fold, I think. This is the thing that polarizing bets do. Now we're like discounting jack x. Or sorry, we're discounting king x. But he might just have like a king queen, king jack for this size. So this is the effect those big polarized sizes have. We'll fold the deuces. And we'll go 1/3 on the ace jack 6 rainbow. 7-8 will fold. King jack will fold in a turn. He didn't get there with our nut shot. But yeah, going to sit out now, see what the damage is. Hopefully get an interesting hand before we end it. Well, we're going to be playing one out of position against Welcome to LA, one of the better eggs. I think this is a nice clean spot to check. Disguises our hand, protects our checking range here. Also, we're just going to be doing a lot of checking here in general. It also pot controls against better hands. What a turn. Okay, we'll make this queen 9 the last hand, as it's getting spicy. My hero called the ace jack on table 3. I kind of want to bet small with the queen 9 and get one of these guys to raise, but I think 2/3 makes sense. Our king jacks, our jack 10s, our king 10s can all start betting now when they turn gut shots. I think we're going to chop the ace jack. I'm fine with that. Now we lose to nines. He definitely should have slapped out a value bet, in my opinion. Interesting. Now we get a call by Welcome to LA. If the draws miss, we can check to him. Try let him bluff a king 10, jack 10 hand. Not sure how much king 10, king jack he's calling though, and if they're just naked gut shots. King jack is a little bit close. If the positions are a bit different, I'd flick it in, as he'll have a lot of jack 10 suited and queen jack suited 3-bet jams. But I think low jack versus cutoff. Ranges are a little too tight. Wow, really interesting here. They both call. I think I'm just going to overbet river. If we're going to have a bluff against two players here, it's not going to be some normal size where they can just call a queen. So yeah, we could check to welcome LA on the button, but I think that's too fancy and optimistic, and we'll just see it go check. We'll just see it go check, check, check if we check to him on the river. I think this is our best chance of getting crying called by something. If we get jammed on, we're going to assume that like they turned a one-outer with pocket nines. But hopefully a queen looks us up. Nuvo overcalled on the turn, so he's kind of got the strongest range out of the two opponents in the hand. So our bluffs here are going to be clubs, jack 10, king jack. It's enough. And we are the type of guy to just fire king jack. Oh, wow. Oh my god. Did he one-outer the turn with nines? Wow. We've no time bank. Wow, versus a jam versus an overbet. He's got to have a bluff. He's not value jamming worse here. I think I'm gonna fold. I'm gonna fucking fold, man, because our range is so polarized. But this is basically what we're repping here. We rep sets, two pairs, and then like king high and jack high. So if he's got like some medium hand, he's just gonna call bluff catch. The jam is crazy now. The only way I could give him credit for a jam is if he had a complete airball himself, like missed clubs, then put us on a complete no, because he's not gonna. I'm very comfortable with that fold there. He can't. Okay, I ask you to get in the comments a lot, but I'd love you to get in the comments and just guess what he had, because I'm really struggling to figure it out, but I'm sure we'll get some interesting suggestions. So get down in the comments. Let me know if you saw that hand. Let me know what the hell you thought about the queen 9-2 pair spot where we overbet river and get jammed on. Very interested to hear your thoughts on that one. Perfect time for me to get a 5-minute break here. We're going to see what the damage was. Up 1,025 for the video series so far. Today we had a loss of, okay, started on 565. Down to 314. It's another buy-in. 250. 250 loss today. It's a couple of slow days in a row now where we've been playing kind of decent, but just not been getting the results. It happens. Totally fine. That brings us to plus 775 for the total of the series. Still going strong. Going to be back at it again tomorrow. Try and get a nice profitable session going. And get some momentum going again. Cheers, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.